So every single person that's using Dubb should have at least one preset by default, right? At least one everybody should have. And the reason I recommend that is because it's going to both increase your results, your outcomes, your effectiveness of your messaging, but it's also can potentially dramatically reduce the amount of effort and energy and recording that you need to do in order to accomplish those results. So here is exactly what this looks like. I'm going to start with a use case to begin, just for the people watching this recording and things like that. The use case I'm going to start with, and the two different presets I'm going to describe, at least two. One is going to be for business development, for prospecting, for nurturing, for communicating with people that are not yet customers. That's their clients, right? That's this use case I'm going to start with because it's probably one of the more common applications across all of our users. A lot of people use it for internal communications, client communications, but the number one use and the greatest impact for ROI is in business development. It's in using video to convert leads and prospects into customers. So that's the use case we're going to start with and how this preset is going to make life easier for that. So in this example, I'm just going to record a personalized video for a lead, right? An opportunity came in. Maybe they submitted a form. Maybe they connected with me on social. Maybe they responded to an advertisement. Maybe they're a referral, right? Any of those opportunities where you have someone in front of you that you're trying to create the very best message you possibly can. You want to make the most powerful first impression that you can, build trust as quickly as you can, right? That's what we're trying to accomplish here is differentiating our message from everybody else in a way that's as efficient and effective as possible. So that's what this use case is all about. So I'm in my email. I'm going to record a little video. And what I'm going to do with that, probably everyone here is familiar with it, but if you're watching this recording, you might not be. There's a feature on the Dubb mobile app just to make this easy. It's a little clipboard here. And the clipboard gives us this piece, right? I can say, hey, John, the name of the lead is John in this pretend example. So I'm going to start like this, and I'm going to use a specific script and everything. You're going to see. Hey, John, it's Darius. I just wanted to put a quick face to the name and let you know this is a real human, right? Not AI, not automation, nothing like that. The reason I actually wanted to make this video for you was first to introduce myself, but also to share with you the reason I was reaching out in the first place. I have a video that comes after this, and it's going to actually explain exactly what my business is doing for individuals and professionals like yourself. So I promise you're going to find it extremely interesting. There's some amazing opportunities and outcomes we're having with clients just like yourself right now. There's also going to be after this some testimonials, some case studies, so you can see how clients just like yourself are succeeding with our services. So thanks again for your time. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts, and can't wait to hear from you. So very specific script I said, and they're kind of generic, but also very specific for a few reasons. So what I did there is the reason I did that is so that the thumbnail, right? You could, again, everyone in this room is probably familiar with this, but if you're watching the recording, I still see people that don't do this. And I understand, right? Sometimes we're pressed for time. Sometimes our hair's not done. Sometimes whatever. But when you can, this type of message is going to make a more powerful first impression. It's going to get better clicks and responses than any other type of generic, non-personalized video email will, because people can immediately tell this is something real, it's something specific for them, and it's a short video, which is different from 99.9% of every other message they've ever received in any channel. So that is why I did that specific thing. But let's come and look at how the preset applies. So what I promised is, right, it's going to make your messages more effective and more efficient. So here's that video that I just did. And this is what the preset is designed to do. Come back to the script just for a moment, hey, right? John, it's I said, hey, John, I wanted to do something for you. First, a face to the name, but also I wanted to share a video with you and let you understand why this is a good fit for you. So the first part of the playlist that I'm going to, or the preset that I'm going to start with is the playlist here. The videos that automatically play and are added after your first primary video. So again, if we're using this for business development, for nurturing, for lead response, they are not a customer yet. So explaining to them the value proposition of our business, the reason why they should take a meeting or call us or text us or move forward, that is articulated right here in the playlist. Every single person in here should have a short explainer video of their benefit, of their value proposition, of their product or service. And it should be in a format like this. You can see this one's only 94 seconds. It should be less than 2 minutes because people's attention spans are very divided, right? People's attention spans are much harder to capture now. So what you want to do is contact them with what I call the home runs, right? This video here, it shows the best outcomes of Dubb, right? It shows the highest use cases and the best outcomes. You get more meetings, more clients, more revenue, right? So instead of explaining all the things, I don't do a 30-minute presentation here showing every single thing Dubb could possibly do. I show the home runs, the most highest, best possible outcomes. And that's what your explainer video here should do as well. So imagine, again, we're responding to a lead, we're following up with a referral, someone that filled out an ad, something like that. They're not a customer yet. So when we said, hey, John, check this out, and then it goes into the reason why John should work with us in the first place. But this video has a specific format. It's short. It's the home runs. So not just talking about, superfluous things, the best possible outcomes they can achieve. And it also should include what I call the irresistible offer, right? We've done a separate training on this. And guys, there's so much, again, the attention spans are so divided. Everyone's competing for their business, for their attention, with their offer. And so our offer, right, the action we're trying to get them to take should be what I call irresistible. It should have them say, well, damn, this sounds so good, maybe even too good to be true. So now I have to book a time or call them or text them or respond to this message so I can figure out what's the catch. This sounds too good to be, this seems irresistible for me. And so I have to proceed, for the responsibility of my business or my profession, whatever I'm, important to me, I have to now proceed because this explainer video, this short video was irresistible to me. Several elements go into creating that irresistible offer, right? Understanding your ICP, understanding exactly who this message is meant for, understanding their problems, the solutions they're after, and what your business can do to meet those problems and solutions, and to the highest degree, right? Not we're going to get you 1% more bookings revenue. That's not irresistible, right? If you're going to double somebody's results, you're going to half the time that takes for something. Those are irresistible offers. Those are high value offers. So this video right here is probably one of the most important aspects of this business development preset, of this prospecting, this lead nurturing preset. Having this one video that's very short, but high value, again, home runs, the best possible things that can happen, and positioned with an offer that seems irresistible, too good to be true, so they cannot resist except to book a time or call you or text you or whatever your actions are going to be. So this video is probably one of the most important pieces of your preset, having that video ready to go. We also have a separate training, guys, on crafting irresistible offers. So be sure to check that out in the coaching channel if you missed that one. That irresistible offer is more and more important as we progress, right? As the world becomes more busy or busier, and there's more offers and more noise out there, our offer needs to be more clear, sharper, and more irresistible. So that's part number one. Again, I start with that one because it's probably the most important thing because it does both of the things I promised. It increases your efficiency to an exponential level. Instead of repeating yourself for 90 seconds or 2 minutes every single time you try to do a video, and you messed up on a word and you wanted to restart it, so you had to retake it 3 times. Instead of doing all that, your function is reduced to what I did there. Hey, John, check this out. So not only does it make you way more efficient in your outreach, in this business development use case, it also is going to make you more effective, because instead of you trying to re-articulate your value proposition with that irresistible offer every time to repeat that, that's done for you automatically. And it has that irresistible component where people say, damn, that sounds really, really good. I gotta go. This is too good to be true. What's the catch? Or this is amazing. I need this right now. So that's why it's going to increase both the efficiency and effectiveness of your message. Now, continuing, the additional videos here, I would say, could be optional, because this one is really where it lands. You're telling them, hey, book the time, call me, text me in order to accomplish this irresistible thing that I'm presenting to you. So if it ended there, that would be okay. However, there is an opportunity to provide additional information like I've done here. Like, think about an infomercial, right? How does it go? It says, look at this amazing opportunity, and this kitchen pan will save so much time and make your food better, whatever. And then what is it followed by? It's followed by a testimonial. saying this pan has changed my time in the kitchen, whatever, right? That's what this idea is about. It's irresistible offer followed immediately by social proof. So I do highly recommend having social proof, testimonials, case studies, success stories also being in this playlist flow for business development. It's personalization. Hey, you're an important person. You're important to me. Your concerns, your problems are important, and that's why you deserve this custom piece, this individualized approach. Followed by your irresistible offer and your value proposition, and then followed by social proof. So people get everything they need to see automatically from one click in the email or text or social media, wherever you sent this video through. So in terms of the playlist, this is what your guys' playlist should look like for business development, prospecting, lead nurturing. If they're not a customer yet, you should have your playlist on your preset set up like this. Irresistible value proposition followed by social proof. Now, one other thing I will say is if you have your business, your product, your service as upsells, cross sells, additional information or opportunities available, this is also an excellent place for that to fit. If they're very early on in your sales cycle, it depends on how related those products are. Again, when you're speaking to everybody, you're speaking to nobody. So I don't recommend just putting all of your products here, because then they could say, oh, well, it doesn't seem so specialized anymore. It doesn't seem so unique to me. So don't go crazy here and just put every single thing that you could. More specific is better. Quality relevance is better than quantity, right? You could have 15 testimonials here. That's not better than having one really good one. Or you could have 15 products explained here. That's not better than having the one product that actually fits for the person you're reaching out to. So that is how your playlist should be designed. It goes your personalization whenever possible, followed by your irresistible value proposition, and then potentially followed by some social proof, case study, testimonial. And then lastly, if it's a perfect fit, cross sells or upsells or additional explainer videos. But again, not 30 minutes, not hours of footage here to get them, oh my God, there's so much, I'm overwhelmed. Okay, that's piece number one of the ultimate business development preset, prospecting preset, should have this in the playlist. Okay, moving down to the buttons. Buttons, guys, starting with the first most important button should be the option, the action you actually want people to take. For us, it's always booking a time. We're not going to call you on the phone and talk about Dubb. We don't want to send you an email to talk about Dubb. That does almost nothing for us, right? What does something for our business is getting into a meeting, into a Zoom where we can show and talk. So that is for us the most important action that we want people to take. And it's always the first button on our preset. It's always the one that's added first, because that's the action you want them to take. And in fact, this ties to the video. Every single video that you do in this workflow should say, click below to take the action I want you to take. In mine, it would say, schedule a time below. In yours, it might say, my phone number, a button to call or text me is right below, a button to download the attachment to fill the form, physically point in the space down so they know the buttons are there. They can see them, but directing them to take the action, I encourage you to use the button below to schedule a time with me where we're going to accomplish some amazing things together, right? That is what the button, the most important button, the direct response you're actually after, because this is your low-hanging fruit, right? Guys, the thing that your message and your explainer and your testimonial, if they've done their job, that will capture your low-hanging fruit for the actions that people are ready to take, calling, texting, emailing, whatever that immediate direct response is that you're actually after. That's the most important button. The next button, just like I showed you social proof here, absolutely highly recommend social proof here. Again, that can be a page with multiple testimonials like this. It can be a web page with written testimonials, a link to Google reviews, a showcase with testimonial videos, whatever that is. Again, quality over quantity. 100 3-star reviews is not as good as a few 5-star reviews, right? So quality over quantity when it comes to social proof. And the reason I also recommend social proof here is because one of the most engaged buttons across all of our users, even the people that are low-hanging fruit, they're ready to take action. They're often curious about who else you've helped. People that are on the fence, they're going to be really concerned with who you've helped because they don't want to take a risk, right? They want to know that you've accomplished the same thing before. And then finally, people at the top of the funnel there, they have an opportunity to connect to a story, to a case study, to a success that's had, and maybe have a light bulb moment. So regardless of where they're at in your sales funnel, in your sales cycle, people always recommend social proof sort of middle, more near the bottom of funnel, but it's extremely valuable at the top of the funnel as well. So direct response and social proof should be a element on every single one of your guys' presets. If it's for business development, they're not a client yet, they're not a customer, these elements should always be present. Third option here, I'm also going to recommend a resource. Mine says reply with video, but this is more just to demonstrate how Dubb works. What I would actually put here for you guys would be a resource, like download the flyer, the PDF, the brochure, the training, the document, fill out this form to get the guide, watch this training video, whatever the resource is that's going to help somebody educate themselves. Like Ruben mentioned earlier, a referral is a much more qualified and much higher converting source. If somebody makes themselves the referral, right? They've taught themselves, this is the solution. I've discovered it. I came up to this conclusion. They're far more likely to convert. And that's what happens here when they're teaching themselves something. So first and foremost, the resource, the brochure, the flyer, the handout, that training element is going to capture those people that prefer to learn themselves, that prefer to have a physical thing, a PDF, a flyer to read. And it has a secondary benefit. First, that benefit where people can self-educate and convert themselves, right? The second benefit, though, is the tracking. These buttons, these videos, they're all trackable, guys. So let's say you're doing some lead nurturing, some prospecting, some business development. You send out a handful of videos to a handful of people. The next day, you come back and check the reporting. You get to see who your low-hanging fruit are, by who actually clicked these resources. And if anyone didn't open the email, didn't watch the video, they're at the top, the farthest away. The people that open the email, maybe they didn't book a time, but maybe they downloaded the resource. That the person who clicked on the resource is a much warmer and engaged opportunity than the person who did nothing. So first, the reason I recommend the resource is for self-education. The second is for tracking, for intelligence in our sales and marketing efforts. We can build automations based on that click. We can have manual activities based on the reporting here. But those are the three buttons that I'm going to recommend in the business development, the prospecting preset, at least those three, right? Resource for tracking and education, social proof, and the direct response that you're actually after. Now let's go into some exceptions. What if you want either a calendar or a text or a phone call, right? Both of those are equal value to you. That would be an exception where you could have a text or a phone call or a, multiple buttons. Maybe you want an email that's just as valuable as a text message to you. So there's exceptions here. I'm not saying 3 buttons is the be all end all. I don't recommend having too many buttons here, right? Analysis paralysis or paralysis by analysis is real, right? So you have 15 buttons here. People don't know what to do. And you're telling them what to do to make sure that they do that. So maybe 1 or 2 direct response, call, text, email, book a time, text me. So whatever that is, maybe more than 1 direct response. I don't recommend multiple resources. That's probably overkill. I don't recommend multiple social proofs, but direct response is one that you might have more than 1 action here. So that's kind of the exceptions with the buttons is maybe more than 1 direct response, but not more of the other things. Buttons, playlist. This is the core that I recommend having to set up for every single person that's using Dubb to communicate with people that aren't customers yet. If you guys don't have this type of preset configured, now is your wake-up call. Come do this. It's going to reduce the amount of recording you actually need to do, and it's going to make every message that much more effective automatically. Less recording, more results. Let's just really quickly cover for maybe folks that are watching this recording how to actually set that up. So right here, assets, presets. The way the preset works is you create it one time and it's going to apply all of these settings to your videos every time you record. So here we would add the right buttons, right? My calendar, we talked about Blab. So I'm going to add my calendar. Maybe it's Calendly, doesn't matter. Then I'm going to add my social proof. So I have some testimonials here. Testimonials. There we go. And then I'm going to have my resource, right? I think I have a guide here somewhere. Get my ebook. And then for the playlist, I'm going to have my short explainer video, right? I have this one that's Dubb in 3 minutes. Maybe that's even a little long. I have a Dubb in 2 minutes there. And then I'll follow that by some more testimonials. We just have the one product or service, right? So we don't need to upsell, cross-sell, whatever. So there, I've added my appropriate buttons, my calendar, my resource, my social proof, and I've added my playlist, my short explainer video with my irresistible value proposition, followed by some testimonial. Then I can adjust some of these settings. These are all, have little tooltips. I won't go into the weeds of these things for now, but all adjustable. And then, of course, the colors and images and stuff. For this, if possible, you can tailor this to the prospect. If you guys are dealing with higher ticket, lower volume, you can do something here where maybe the image is specific for the user or the type of business that you're reaching out to, or it's just generic. Like in this example here, it's our branding and colors, nothing to do with people we're reaching out to. But I'll show you another example that is that. So this is how you create the preset. Images, colors, optional settings, and then the things we talked about that should not be optional, your buttons and your playlist. There is a whole nother feature, guys, that we didn't discuss, which is the AI chat. That's another training. We have a completely separate training on that. Not enough time to cover that in this one training. I do recommend having it on your preset. It's extremely useful. It's extremely valuable, getting a lot of play and resulting in a lot more conversions. So I do recommend it, but again, separate training for that. That's a 15-minute standalone training on its own. You find that in our coaching channel as well. Anyway, I was saying that let's say you guys are specializing in certain industries or verticals. So I have this preset that I showed. This is all what I would consider generic. The 2-minute explainer, the irresistible value proposition, was for maybe all my ICPs, or maybe it was for one specific ICP. The success stories, again, for one specific customer or for all my types of customers. But what if I specialize in one or two types of customers, or maybe I have one or two products that I want to promote this way? So that's where you can have multiple presets. So this one that I'm showing you is my generic preset, 2-minute explainer for anyone in business. Success stories, there's 15 different success stories there from different industries. But now I'm going to reach out to someone in higher education. So admissions and alumni that are looking to get donations and engage with students for enrollment, they do much better when using video. And so what I did is I applied my higher education preset. And now when I view that, you'll see it changed everything with that one switch. Instead of the generic video and generic testimonial, specific video about admissions, specific testimonial from admissions, specific case study for admissions. So you can see the same exact strategy concept that I just showed you with how to create your preset is applicable to any service, product, vertical, industry, ideal customer profile type that you are reaching out to or that you're trying to promote. So not only do I recommend having your one preset, if you guys find that you have different products, different services, or you're reaching out to different types of people, you should have more than one preset, customized, optimized for those different opportunities. And here's two examples of that, right? One is generic for anyone. One is very specific for a very specific type of customer, client. So this is how you guys should have your presets created. Again, this is only for one use case. This is for business development, prospecting, reaching out to leads, nurturing opportunities that are not contacts yet. Now, there's the other ones that Ruben just described earlier in this session, which is your videos that you should have. Having a preset for testimonials, absolutely recommended, right? If you can leverage testimonials in your business, then you should absolutely have reviews and testimonials as one of your presets. So look what I just did. I changed it to that. And when I share that, it's got buttons for Google and buttons for video. So click below to leave a review on Google or send a video. Please do both, right? And in your testimonial, just tell about what it was like. This is just an example, but this is what having that preset that's designed for one purpose, for capturing testimonials and Google reviews. I have my explainer video in there, how they can leave one, maybe education on what the step-by-step is, and the buttons for them to take action. So this is just to show you guys presets have multiple applications. In this training, we covered specifically the best way to optimize your preset for business development, for communicating with folks who are not yet customers and clients. That's it. So guys, if you would like some help crafting your presets, come join the Dubb Founder Coaching, the live training every day that we provide. Come ask for support, and we're ready, willing, and able to help you strategically technically, right, build these use cases, build out these presets, these templates, and the shortcuts and strategy that go along with it. So thanks, guys. See you in the next one.